Welcome back to Pro League, guys. We have a 1-1 tie right now between the Jin Air Green Wings and Samsung Galaxy Khan.
Yes, we do. And Deer played very well. Very deserving win on Sejong. And this ties us up. This puts us already in a bit of a different score set than people would think.
Look at this, Wolf. Let's high five.
Let's high five.
Yeah, man.
And let me just say, yeah, if you went to Wikipedia or Alaguliak, or however you pronounce it,
Alaguliak.
If you went there, you might think, like, wow, Solar has an amazing Zerg versus Protoss. And he does, but this is SOS we're talking about here, and also Solar has been looking pretty not so good recently.
Yeah, in fact, quite bad.
Yeah,
to be more frank, he's not playing well at all. I mean, I guess in recent times, in individual results, I did hear that he was playing better. I didn't quite catch the games, but in terms of Pro League results, he's not playing well. But I guess the same could be said about SOS. He's not playing badly, but he's not playing SOS. And he's being very, very experimental. I don't even know if that's a word.
I think what he said, what he called
innovative.
He called it poker face or something like that.
Something like poker face against Zerg specifically. He's making some weird builds, man. He's just like going 2-base, fleet beacon into blink stuff. He's going crazy. But again, look at Solar. He's playing really badly. He's 0-6, 0-2 against Protoss.
I mean,
just in general, not really playing well.
I feel like people still vote for him because they remember like how well he did in his first like 5 to 6 ZVPs he played last year. Like, that was really impressive. People really respect him for that. He's really known for that. There's a lot of hype then. But he never lived up to the hype after that. People still act like he's like the biggest Protoss killer, but he's really not. He's just not. No. He wants to be again, but right now he's not proving that he is.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, we are going to Overgrowth, a very small map here, 2-player map. And it's going to be SOS versus Solar on this map. Let's jump into it. Game number 3 here between Jin Air and Samsung. Down here in the bottom left in the green from Jin Air Green Wings, the Protoss player, it is SOS.
In the top right in the blue for Samsung Galaxy Khan. I want to time it with his face. It's Solar.
Oh, you failed, Wolf.
Well, once known as the Protoss Killer, now known as Harmless in Pro League.
It's like he's fighting with one of those pool noodles against literally everybody else who has a sword.
Yeah.
He's just trying to smack him in the face and distract him, and he gets his head chopped off every time.
He's not like Silvio, the sword master in Game of Thrones with the wooden sword, like fighting people with swords.
No. He has a pool noodle.
He has a pool noodle, and he's like not even good at using pool noodles.
It's like all slippery and wet. He just can't use it.
It's more like
he falls out of his hands and stuff.
He's like with his hands tied behind his back, bound, and there's a pool noodle in front of him, and his only choice is to like grab it with his mouth to try to fight.
That's at least what it's looking like.
That's what his record is showing us right now.
Yeah.
So
just to put it very cleanly, I guess you could say that.
Now, you have to drone scout against SOS on this map. He may steal the... He may, like, catch this. I don't think he will, but he has that choice that he can make. Not going to do it. It's not Leonok we're watching here. It's not Sue we're watching.
Interesting that SOS, in fact, he puts down the gateway instead of, like, any pylons at the front. You know, we talk about how SOS is, known for going for these cannon rushes, but I feel like he's almost left that behind him a bit. Like, he's just stopped doing it a while. Oh, wow. Very nice block here right as he's hitting 400 minerals.
Yep. Second probe has to come down. His most recent Pro League match was actually against Dark, where he did try to cannon and fail. And then it was because he like initially failed, but then ended up pushing it out. It was a funny game that, I mean, actually that wasn't against Dark, excuse me, that was against Sue.
Yeah,
But an SK Telecom Zerg. So, I mean, he does still do it. He's definitely not one-trick pony anymore, though. Like you say, he's been doing a lot more experimentation and other ways in this matchup. Now just taking his gases back at home. He scouts the double hatch. It's not like a double hatch for pool. It's just a pretty quick third base at about 320, 330.
Yeah, quite fast. But he does get that scout on, like you were saying, so he's going to know. And SOS, like I was saying before, he likes to experiment in this matchup right these days. So he could like throw down a Stargate here and just go for that passive kind of play, but identifying the fact that he is going for this very greedy, fast third base here in the face of SOS. SOS may want to punish it, maybe go for some kind of 3-gate, 4-gate shenanigans, wall off the front. You see immediately the warp gate research is put here.
Let's keep an eye on that Chrono Boost. If he ends up Chrono Boosting it, that'll be a good tell. I don't know where that Chrono Boost just went down. Blizzard, if you're listening, put a Chrono Boost thing in the production tab. If we could see like some blue icon, like a Chrono Boost icon next to what's being Chrono Boosted.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that just make everybody so happy? I'm pretty sure it would. Everyone would be like, wow, I can tell on the production tab at all times what's being Chrono Boosted without looking at it physically.
Yep, that would be sick.
Am I a genius? No, but I think
no, I think
this
sense.
idea is genius. It's not even mine. Somebody else thought of it, like I'm sure a million years ago. I don't know who it was, and I never read it when they thought of it. But I'm sure I'm not the first person to say this. But I think it's a good idea.
So we got the Zealot running across the map. It's a bit awkward. He's alone, but he's just scouting, I guess. Wants to see if there's a queen. And
speaking of scouting,
oh, he's gonna get in.
Doesn't see a whole lot, but
ooh, he hid that sentry.
Yeah, and the robotics.
Yeah, think we might see an immortal push here.
I think that's absolutely what it's starting to look like we're going to see. Could be like a weird sentry drop or something, but the immortal push is much more likely.
So the sentry is seen this time.
Yeah,
but it's only one. There's one being made here. In the main base, it looks like.
He did try to click on it and see how much energy it had. Whether or not he actually ended up seeing that or not is unknown, and this is a misread.
Yeah, look at this. 3 blind spore crawlers. This is what you do when you're scared and you're like, I don't know what he's doing. I just have to do this just in case. Because if you don't get the scout on the Stargate and he has, like, a bunch of oracles hidden or something and then he goes for, like, double oracle harass or something and you have no spore crawlers, you're dead.
Yeah. And
so
you have to be careful against SOS because, like you said, he's kind of skating around the norm right now with his builds rather than actually just doing what's normal and standard. The Immortal is on the way. There's a Warp Prism out, and he hasn't shown it. Okay, it's going up with the probe. Now, this probe usually means he's going to make cannons with this. Well, I guess he could actually just make a pylon, too.
Yeah, going to be a pylon here. And one thing that Solar did see that may tip him off was that there was no fourth gas at the natural. So he's like, okay, you're not going for heavy tech, which is pretty much the norm. If you're just gonna, play standard, you're going for a bit of a rush here. You're making a lot of gateways. You're putting those minerals somewhere else.
Yeah, there's a ton of roaches on the way. On the map right now, Zergling-wise, he has 4 Zerglings. This is going to do a lot of damage, Valdez. He can actually zone the roaches out with these sentries, which, mind you, have built up a lot of energy by now. And this is just stopping a lot of mining time.
Yeah, this is delaying all the mining time at the third base, but this is a lot of roaches. He needs to have some really nice force fields here. The queen is going to go down.
Yeah, and he might want to just pull these zealots back now that the lings are kind of cleaned up because he's ended up losing a lot of these, and he doesn't want to lose those sentries because those are going to be very important for the push later. With the Immortals, this type of play is usually designed to get some sort of small tempo advantage and then follow up with a big Immortal push once they've messed up their drone count a little bit.
Those Immortals have to be really careful.
Yeah.
Lings are coming across the map with some roaches. Solar's looking to put on the damage on the hurt right now after being forced to make all of these army units. And he may possibly be able to get some damage done, but already with this many gateways as well as 2 Immortals out, I think SOS should be fine. And in fact, he may even want to put on some more pressure.
The other thing is it's a bit awkward because the Zerg army is kind of meeting him around the map and delaying. And the more he delays, the more spines he gets up, the more units he gets out, the closer he gets to roach speed. He's even putting all of his spore crawlers over here. And this is going to help against the Mothership Core, the Warp Prism. And it's also just kind of literally going to block the Zealots a little bit from actually doing damage to any ranged units that get behind it. Look at how much time these Spore Crawlers, even though they can't fight, actually buy.
Here we go, more Warp-ins from that Warp Prism in the back.
I love this Spore Crawler business here, man. I'm really liking it. But
yeah, it's really cool. Solar being very patient right now.
And he needs
He's not
to be.
engaging before he has to.
He has to. He wants to engage when he has a critical mass of units that can overwhelm. But there's so many force fields available here. Lings do get inside regardless.
Yeah, Lings get a really nice surround on the left flank of that Protoss army. But again, that's a lot of Protoss units. And look at all those force fields. So many of the Roaches are not firing right now.
Yep. And he has to kite back. A few sentries start to get popped here. He needs another warp, and where is it? Starts to come in now.
It's
the Immortals still have a lot of shields on them.
Yeah, he's just kiting against all those drones. Look at that. 14 drones go down, and the 2 Immortals are still alive. Finally, the Time Warp comes out now.
Yep.
And there's no links for the support. More are coming out here, but more Warpins are coming as well.
Oh,
and Solar's not looking in a great spot. He's about to get Roach Speed, though.
That's the thing, because without Roach Speed, he was having so much trouble chasing these Immortals, but now that he has it, he can easily get on top of them and target them down, and he's going to overwhelm this. The Mothership Core goes down as well. Warp Prism's getting pretty low, and Solar...
Oh, my God. He
just
barely holds this off. Just barely. And it may have just been enough. You know, he lost a lot of drones, but he's got 3 bases. He's got a Hydra Den on the way.
I think he's almost already won the game with this. There's almost no transition point for SOS except to like try to do another attack. Like when you're doing a 2-stalker Immortal drop, you know something has gone wrong, right? Does it maybe kill his Extractor? Not even. Not a Queen either.
Maybe like a couple of Zerglings.
This is a very awkward position for SOS. He has to somehow either make a second push work or get a 3rd base up and tech up the Colossi against the Hydralisks that are going to be exactly what Solar wants against this type of composition. And both of those things are very difficult, almost impossible right now to do. I think the follow-up push is the better plan.
Yeah, I like that as well.
I
don't know if it's going to work, but I think it may be his best chance.
Kill a drone that comes across if you can find one.
Maybe go for the Queens here. Oh,
yeah.
No, there's a lot of support there. I didn't see him under the Overlords.
I think he wants to even maybe just try to like grab a Roach, but I mean, small things, small steps, but 8 Hydras are on the way, and that's the first 8. The next wave of Hydras is going to be the bigger problem, because you can have a ton of Roaches to tank with Lings up there at the front as well. There's only 3 Immortals with this army.
Yeah, I mean, look at the supplies right now. We already see the Zerg running away with it a bit here. And he's got some really good tech as well.
This is no, like, Myungshik Step 2, you know what I mean? This is looking flimsy.
Yeah.
He's massively down on army supply, and his comp is not what he wants. Also, the Zerg's already got a concave here. This could still work. He does have a lot of force fields.
Yeah, man.
Here we go. Guardian Shield goes up. Force field 1, 2, 3. 4th one down. He isolates a lot of those Hydras, a lot of these Roaches. This is what he might need to actually get back into this game. Lings are actually fighting Zealots as well. This is almost the best fight that SOS could hope for.
Yeah, he's getting a really nice fight, but then again, the more time that passes, Solar is just building up more and more of these Hydras. And those are going to be the key units here. We do have, of course, continuous Warpins. SOS is going full all-in here off of 2 bases. And Protoss units are strong. He's got 3 of those Immortals in this mix, and as long as he can protect them with a lot of Stalkers and some decent amount of Zealots in the front to tank for the Zerglings, we could possibly see him get something done here.
This Time Warp is going to zone out a lot of these units on the right side. Mothership Core took some serious damage there. He ends up force fielding again here. He doesn't have very many left. Ling's coming back now, and this is just too much Hydra fire. He can't deal with that.
So many Hydras. And he's fighting into a concave as well. It's just like a flimsy amount of Warpins that are coming out here compared to the Zerg's macro back at home.
He just doesn't have gas, and you know, Zealots are not going to be what you want against this massively ranged firepower that we're seeing from the Zerg. He is still trying to get some headway here.
Yeah, this push is not over.
But
funnily enough,
how many Hydras does he have now? He's got
a lot.
A lot is the answer to that question.
24.
24.
17 Roaches, 24 Lings as well.
Even Warp Gate's getting contaminated here.
That's going to force some Warpins back at home. It's a little bit annoying.
Yeah. Well, again, he's picking off a few units here and there, but they're getting replaced very quickly. This is excellent control. You can see, if you look at the player cams, the bottom lane, SOS looks so calm right now, whereas Solar
he looks
is the
like
one
he's
who
in a
looks nervous.
zen state right now. Look at his face.
He's like, I've done this so many times. I know exactly how to win when I'm behind in this situation. That's why I chose this build. This is incredible. This is actually Myungshik Step 2. I was so wrong. So sorry I let
you know what?
astray.
Like, Solar is being so patient as well. He's handling this very well. This counterattack, this small counterattack is just so annoying, but it diverts SOS's attention. His micro is not 100% back at this giant army. at the front where he needs it to be.
SOS is just like waiting. Every time he waits to get more force fields, more Hydras come out. Look at this. This is like an arc, a concave. This is almost a surround of Hydralisk fire. And Hydralisk needles pop sentries like balloons. And that's going to be game over. Solar finally smiles. He knows he's done it. And he is going to take game 2. GG. Samsung takes the lead.
Wow, I cannot believe he was actually able to do that. Really, really nice job here by Solar. SOS going down once again. Solar just reading what was coming to him. He saw, he had like such little information, but it was just enough to tip him off. And he had all the necessary tools to hold off what SOS is throwing at him at the exact right times.
Really well done by Solar, and I believe that's his first win this season.
Yeah, it is. Finally, he's finally broken that streak. And against SOS, arguably not playing as well as he was last season, but still a very, very strong Protoss.
Wow. That was a fun game to watch, though. SOS really gave that push his all. I mean, I was counting him out after the first push failed, but he really made it close. He really brought it back. His control was incredible. His patience was incredible, but patience starts off as an ally, but becomes an enemy of you as the game goes longer. Patience is actually what can end up killing you if you end up facing 31 Hydralisks with a mostly Sentry army.
Yeah.
As the Zealots fade, as the force fields run out. That was a really cool game. That's like my #1 recommended game actually today after watching that so far from what we've seen.
Yeah, I like that, and I like the Hero Curious game as well from earlier on today. But really got to hand it to Solar. It was funny, like, after he held off the first portion of the attack, like the first phase, he was like, okay, immediately, he's like, okay, I need a Hydra Den right now. I'm behind on drones, but I need it for the second phase of the push. He knew that SOS is not just going to transition out, and he knew that he needed that specific tech, so he throws it down right away. Like, literally, you could watch the replay, and the second SOS backs off, the Hydra Den comes down.
Notice, and this is actually, that was like a great scene that we just saw there. That was almost like picturesque, like I want to screen cap it. Who does SOS talk to when he sits down in the booth is actually Symbol. A great Zerg player, someone who knows Zerg extensively, was on TSL, a team of Zergs, many of which